Hey guys, Dimensional Sight here, back with another video. And this video is going to be about energy, all different types of energy, and how are they related and how, you know, what does it all mean? So, I'm going to first start by talking about the type of energy referred to as Vril and oftentimes associated with Nazis and Hitler and the Thule Society. Um, and you can see here it's they blended political ideals of the Illuminati, Hindu mysticism, Theosophy, and Kabbalah, just to give you an idea of all the different things they were into. And um, so they believe in this Vril force, and they had the belief in the black sun, which is where the Vril energy is coming from, I believe. Um, and then there was the Vimanas and or UFOs, flying saucers that were related to uh, that whole storyline, I guess we'll call it. So there's that type. And then there's also what you might call chi energy. So it's been referred to as chi energy. The Hindus call it prana. And then you've also got other types of occult energy, let's call it, or life force energy, such as orgone energy, which is and what I'm going to tell you is that all of these different names are all referring to actually the same thing, the same type of energy. So whether we call it prana, chi, vril, orgone, it's all the same thing. And I also do believe that this is tied in with the free energy, etheric energy technology that I've talked about in some of my other videos. So if you haven't seen those, go check out the Stupas and Towers video, and just a little bit throughout some of my other ones as well, where I refer to um, what I think is going on with some of the buildings and things from the past. This is just the what you're seeing now is when I was using Start Page to look up chi. This is just showing the different chakras, and they believe in these different points throughout the body that have different meanings. Now, I'm personally a Christian, and I don't believe in. I actually think there is something to this, the chi energy, the chakra system, and all that. I look at it in just a very scientific way in terms of when I look at what is chi energy, to me, it's just I always am looking for the Holy Spirit to be in me. So if I'm ever asking for energy um, to be in my body or for it to increase in my body, I'm always asking for to be filled with the Holy Spirit of God. That way I know I'm getting it straight from the source. I'm not getting it from some lower demon, some unclean spirit, or anything like that. And that's the thing that you definitely need to watch out for with, in my opinion, with Buddhism, Hinduism. Um, I think they have some of the mechanics right, but then a lot of it goes off into idol worship and demon worship and lower, just a lot of unclean spirits and things involved, and some of the practices like prostration, I just don't think that that's necessary. I think meditation is fine, but the whole idea that you're going to reach a point of nothingness in nirvana is a deception, I also think. So I definitely just want to caution everyone that to be careful if you are looking into this and just not to get basically led astray, in my opinion. I just always ask for the Holy Spirit, and that's what I feel like I'm always getting. So, um, the practices themselves, I don't believe mechanically. What chi is it's no, there's nothing good or evil about it. I mean, it is a good thing to have more, have more life force energy in your body, basically, right? But I mean, all of the, let's call them the evil controllers of the world right now. They know all of this knowledge, and they're keeping it to them. They're wanting to keep it all to themselves and use it all for themselves. And they're doing very wicked and evil things like killing children and drinking their blood and taking their life force energy that way and stuff like that. So, you know, it can be used for good or bad. That's how you have to look, as can really all things, all any technology, let's say, or knowledge. Um, So let's move on here. We got quite a few images to look at. This one here looks more like a kind of a darker. This to me image is like somebody created. They're doing like these maybe 666 type hand signs, or they're just doing like one of these meditation hand signs. But then they've got this big black sun imagery on there. So this is the kind of stuff, in my opinion, you wouldn't want to get off into. Um, you're going to be maybe going down the wrong path there. This is another one showing the rainbow of colors, which is you'll see pretty often with the chakras. They go with the colors of the rainbow, which I guess makes sense. The rainbow of colors being the visible spectrum of light that we can see, and it being, what all everything's really created out of the ether, anyways. There's really only one substance in when you get right down to it, and that is the ether. And everything that we see and experience in the world is just permutations of the ether. And basically, light was one of the first things that was created by God, and He created the rainbow um, as a reminder to us that He would not be flooding the earth anymore. He did do a lot of other things to it after flooding it, but He did not flood it anymore. He's not going to flood it again. Um, and then through these practices of like qigong and everything, you can do almost superhuman things eventually. Um, and you know what? There's nothing evil about that. Now if you're during the process, you're looking towards a spirit of some sort of an unclean spirit, or demigod that you're praying towards, then there is something wrong with that. But if you're just literally doing these exercises and getting into a state of, I mean, I would love to be that flexible, to be honest. It would probably feel great to be that flexible and have all that energy be able to flow through your body in such a efficient way, you know. Probably feels amazing. Here's an example of, do I think this something like this would be possible, where you could build up enough chi in your body and then you could actually shoot like an energy ball out of your hand and hurt somebody with it, do something with it? Yes, I do think that this is actually possible. Do I think that Almighty God would want you doing something like this? Absolutely not. This is probably definitely what you would call like black magic of some sort, where because you're only going to probably be using this to harm another person, to shoot them with it. And also, I would say, I would just have to guess that if you're doing something like this, you've cultivated the chi into your body, but now you're really expelling it. So you're gonna really drain yourself by doing something like that, if you were even able to do it. To get to the point to where you could even do something like that is probably extremely difficult. But I don't know, because I never tried, and I never will try to do something like that. Um, and then you've got this thing called Kirlian photography, which is where and this shows you that it's related to electricity as well. Um, I'm not going to say that chi energy is electricity. I'm not. They call it the breath, prana. So when you're taking in, when you breathe, and when the let's say the oxygen and the nitrogen and everything that's in the air is then getting put into your bloodstream and then it's circulating throughout your body through your bloodstream, that is the life energy right there. That is the chi energy. It's the same thing basically. That circulation of, if you didn't have the circulation, the breath, you would die. I mean, you can't live without it. It's that is the energy that flows, and it is related to electricity, but I don't know if you could call it electricity itself. I'm just not sure exactly, but um, Kirlian photography is made with voltage, so this guy accidentally discovered that if an object is on a photographic plate is connected to a source of voltage, an image is produced, and it basically shows you the aura, I would call it, of the object, of the thing that's on the photographic plate. And this is basically showing you the life force energy flow of this thing. And then if you look into Kirlian photography, you'll see that if something is dead, like if food's been processed, it won't produce this. Like let's say this broccoli was put through a microwave at a for a while, and you took it back out and did Kirlian photography, it would be completely dead. You'd barely see any light coming out of it at all. Um, and this particular thing, I just think it's talking about the benefits of raw food, because they basically have raw food, raw vegetables, fruits, things like that, has more life force energy in it, and when you eat it, you get it from that food. This one, I guess, is Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee definitely. I guess I've always been fascinated by him and his story and what he was like, and he definitely was a great cultivator of chi energy. There's just no doubt about it. And then you've got all the mysterious things surrounding his death, and they say that the basically like the triads or mafias came after him and got him because he was exposing kung fu secrets that weren't supposed to be exposed. So I should look. I might do a video on him. I'd have to do a lot of research first, so it'd take me a while. But I would definitely like to do some research on him and find out more about his life and everything like that. And then here, this was a thing. I think it was talking about prana on this particular image, and I think they were just showing here that when you breathe in and out, this is an exercise when the diaphragm goes in and out, and basically the prana goes in and out, which is the breath. But because they're showing you to really suck in your gut and then really push it out, and then really suck it in and then really push it out. And when you do that, you're getting more breath, more prana into your body. And then this was showing something about prana. I guess there's 5 different on this chart. I noticed there's different. There's not one set set of rules for these chakras and pranas. There's different people that have different takes on them. Yeah, and this one was also from Hinduism, and prana flow throughout the body. And I guess this is like a detailed chart. They call these nadis or channels. So then they have mapped out, I guess, these channels between the different chakras, I believe, is what that's showing us. And then this was just showing what I wear when I go into. This is how I look at my spiritual body right here. So when I do dimensional sight, you got to be careful because you're using a technique that you might say is the occult or arcane, and you have to be extremely careful. I mean, when you're doing those things, you don't want to be um, not covered. You know, you don't want to be vulnerable to attack, basically, by spiritual entities and things like that, and principalities and powers in high places and spiritual wickedness, you know, that runs this world in high places. So you got to have your spiritual armor on. You got to have the armor of God on. Helmet of salvation, breastplate of righteousness, belt of truth, shield of faith, sword of spirit, and feet protected by the gospel. And I think there was another interpretation on that one, but um, I think it was like feet protected by, you know, the scripture. Yeah, I think that was it. Walk by, yeah. So that would be what, you know, when if I'm bringing this life force energy into my body, then, you know, this is what I'm strengthening right here on my body, hopefully on yours. This is static electricity in motion, in action here, showing you like basically a Tesla tower. I mean, I'm sure you guys have all seen these before, where the electricity, you know, shoots out inside the bubble. Oh, I always like those toys, and this is just like an image of like static electricity. So I definitely do think that this phenomena of static electricity is related to chi energy and prana as well, because when you're breathing in, um, and you get that etheric energy from the air is what you're getting. The atmosphere is basically got energy in it, and you're sucking it in and you're taking it in, and then your body is able to use it. And your body basically is well, it's obviously an extremely complex system, but you've got your nervous system. So your nervous system is sending electrical signals throughout your body, and so obviously that's electricity that's giving all the data to your brain and everything to process so that it knows what to do, and your heart, um, so that everything, you know, is basically the better communication you have throughout your nervous system, the more life force energy can flow through it, the more chi energy you can have at once, and basically you can have a much more energetic and, you know, better lifestyle, and just have a ton more energy to do stuff and have fun and um, help people and all that kind of stuff. And basically, when you get blockages in these systems, is when that it can't flow back and forth up and down where it needs to go, and that's when you have problems. And this is the circulatory system right here on a human, with obviously the heart pumping the blood, but obviously all these systems work together. So the nervous, the circulatory, um, you know, because the blood is passing all of the air, so the life force energy is coming in from the air, from the breath, but the breath's getting passed into the blood, which is basically like a plasma. I mean, it is a liquid, but it's almost a solid too, because it's a very, very thick liquid. And so, you know, that's obviously part of the chi system, the lymphatic system, which I think is more of a cleaning system. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't done a lot of research on that one, but, you know, obviously ties in. The heart energy is very important. It's what our society completely tries to take you away from. So our entire society is set up to overuse your brain, so that you are always thinking from your logical brain side, and you're stuck in this like paradigm of always living by logic and emotion and things like that. Whereas like heart energy is totally different, where it's like and even like you get gut feelings as well. So if you've ever felt like a gut feeling, you know that and it's always right. Like throughout my life, my gut feeling when I look back are never wrong. They're always right. And then your heart energy too is like it's like so much more. Your heart is actually probably more important than your brain in terms of like you being a person or you being alive and having life force energy in your body. Um, that's where it's all kind of starting and ending from is your heart, and it's got 30 times more like electrical energy in it, and it's than your brain does. Just a very very powerful. It's like the first thing that forms when you like form in your mother is the heart, and then everything else grows around it. So and everyone should try to uh, get their energies back more refocused on their heart than from their brain and their mind, like because like I said, the basically the evil controllers of this world really 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 want you to be stuck in that mind system, um, and not living from the heart, because when you live from the heart you're going to have a much more fulfilled life for sure. That's what I've experienced. So like for example, having children, and you know, it it like totally increases like your heart muscle, um, like your feelings, and just your the energy that you feel is just amazing. So everybody should be, what does society tell you to do? Not have children, right? So what you should be doing is having children, lots of them, as many as you can, in my opinion. Yoga, so that's like a practice of energy cultivation. I guess that stems from Hinduism. And it's again, it's an exercise. It's definitely there's something to it. It is good for you. I do believe that it is healthy to do these exercises and stretches, but you don't want to get caught in the new age and the mystical religious philosophies involved with it. You just want to stick to the practices themselves. So like for example, this pose, like this is probably there's probably something to this. We've seen in my Stupa video about energies and things, and we've been talking about points and towers, and so is there, is this beneficial? Potentially, yes. Then just any other pose of the body. This could be helping right here, doing something like that. Doing who doesn't want to be able to have flexibility and not be overweight and be able to stand on one leg and do exercises. That's all good for you guys. It's all good stuff. Like it kind of bugs me when I see like Christians and stuff talking about how everything is evil. That it's like, dude, Satan turned all that stuff evil. It's like all of this stuff. Like cannabis would be a good example for me too, where it's 9 out of 10 Christians are going to tell you, like cannabis is bad, you should never do it. It's like, dude, it's the plant of renown from the Bible. It's like a gift from God directly to humanity. The devil wants nothing more than to take all the good gifts of God and turn them into evil things. Okay, and that's like exactly what's going on with this energy stuff and this chi energy stuff. So like here's your average Americans nowadays, gluttonous, and it's being celebrated now too. They're saying, oh yeah, you should totally like, it's great to look this way and be totally unhealthy and die like at a really early age and rack up all sorts of medical bills on the way out because you just couldn't stop eating and just being a slob and not, you know this is like the opposite of having life force energy. It's like where you give up on life and you don't want to do any work at all. Okay, and then you got the kids too with they're growing up with this technology, and the screen time and everything is really bad, and it's basically taking their life force energy and just sucking it right out of them. You know, there's definitely a lot of that going on, and then you've got the whole system is set up like this. This is from that old movie Metropolis, and the workers are like basically just drones. They're just like zombies almost, and they're just cogs in this machine, and they go every day, and you know, it's kind of what reminds me of how our system is set up now. It's designed to be like this on purpose. Very evil, you know, like these robotic beings. They want you to just be like a robot and not have real human, not have like real human experiences with nature anymore. They just want you to be in these compact cities. Agenda, they used to call it Agenda 21. Now they think they moved it back to Agenda 30 or something, but it's the same thing. They want to cram you into all these cities with a camera on every street corner. 1984, you know, I mean, is starting to look like a, you know, like a joke compared to what we're really going to have. And this was just going back to the skeletal system. This is just kind of tying in earlier with all the other systems that I was talking about in the human body. Um, Muscular system. So, I mean, all these systems, again, all work together as one because the whole body works together as one. And there, that I just liked this image because again, it emphasizes the heart energy, which is what we need to get back to. It's going to solve a lot of our problems when we get back to heart energy being dominant. And this is Curly photography. Now, I don't know about this hand map thing. I have no idea about this, you know, yin yang. You know, that's getting off into that dualism and all that. But I just thought it was a good image of the Curly photography of a human hand. Just to kind of show you that chi energy, that aura that you can have. And then this was related to orgone energy, which is also, like I said, I believe the same thing. I think we're talking about the same thing. And then what you do is they create these, they take like the resin and then you fill it with the different objects. A lot of people use crystals and other things, and then they think that there's healing properties with these or just energetic properties that are potentially beneficial, clearing out the maybe the cell phone tower radiation, and especially maybe with the 5G going in, that these types of things here, objects could help protect you from the harmful radiation and frequencies that are being unleashed on us. Um, and on that note, I will go to a few images here. Uh, that would be your regular cell phone tower today. Is the Tesla tower technology related to this chi energy? In some way, I believe so. Yes, it is electrical in some way, but I just don't think that chi energy itself is pure electricity. I don't. I'm still working on exactly what the difference is. Um, and this goes back to one of my other video with stupas where, you know, we repeatedly see these columns with the dome and antenna on top. And I do believe that this is potentially cultivating this energy into the person standing underneath. So same thing with that building, similar idea here. Then you've got the Masonic imagery with the always having the eye in the middle. looking down, and then they've got the sun and the moon on either side. So the eye being I believe, the eye of Lucifer. Manly P. Hall, who was a high-level Freemason, called it the seething energies of Lucifer. This would be the same thing that the Vril believe was the black sun, or the Vril energy coming from the black sun. Um, and so this is what they get their power and energy from. So I think it's safe to say that it's evil, whatever energy it is they're getting from this Lucifer eye. But again, they're using it for evil. I mean, it's very likely the energy itself is doesn't take sides. I guess there's a word for it. I just can't think of it right now. But then this is also utilizing what's called Orgone energy cloudbuster devices that use these copper pipes, and these are supposed to break up the chemtrails above. And they put the resin down here in the bucket with all the metal shavings and things, and then somehow that works with these tubes that go up. And there's another picture of those. And those definitely remind me of the fascists or fascists. Uh, so this has been speculated. There's a lot of other YouTubers that have done videos about this, so you can definitely go check it out. And I definitely agree that there is something weird going on with these fascists. Uh, I'm going to call them energy devices. I do believe it is some sort of a technology, because the imagery of this is just everywhere from the ancient, from all the old stuff, and there are even references to it being some sort of a protection device, or some sort of energy or electrical energy can come out of it. It is like it can beam energy or something like that. Um, it's just interesting to me how these cloudbuster devices um, look very similar to the fasciste. Now in modern days they tell you this is a bundle of sticks, but I and others have, I believe, correctly decided that these are in fact copper tubes. And then potentially too that the wrappings around here could be like when you wrap a wire around. So instead of cloth, I mean, maybe these are like wires that get wrapped around in a certain way. And then the axe part of it, I have no idea. It's obviously not used as an axe for chopping wood. They're doing some. It's just the shape is similar to what is needed, I believe, for the head of it. And I don't. Sometimes the axe is in the middle, sometimes it's on the end. So I don't know why, but it's different sometimes. But Uh, that's just what I believe. Now, this was a really fascinating picture. Just when I was looking up fascists, this one popped up, and I was like, "Whoa, that's really weird." Um, and this is like in Oxford. This is on an old mud flood building in England, and it's an obvious old mud flood building with all the signs of towers and domes and everything on it. And it has this with the lion head and a fascist sticking out of its mouth with that, what we'll call an axe head on the top, but that almost looks like a fleur de lis. Um, but it just kind of has that odd shape that I suppose a fascist needs. But I just thought this was really fascinating because they show it coming out of the lion's mouth, and I had never seen that like that before. And I think this is a big clue right here. And then you've got the fascists here in the United States, in Congress there. Really weird that they would have fascists in a supposedly democratic, because this was also the symbol of fascism under Mussolini. So, I mean, I know these were probably here on the walls before that time, maybe. I don't know actually when these were put on the walls, but just very weird and interesting. These are Roman, old, supposedly Roman coins. As we know, the Roman Empire, there's some questions about that with the Phoenicians and the well, yeah, I mean, basically, there was some history erasing going on with the and making up of stories about the Roman Empire specifically. But this is one of the coins from that time, supposedly, and this is showing the fasciste. Now, I do believe this is going to be a much more correct representation of the technology, and it shows the axe head in the middle or of the device, not on the end point. And you can probably do either or, I'm guessing, because it shows it. But like I said, different images show it different ways. But there you go. And then it's got this weird thing on there. I don't know what this is. You could say that, well, this coin was smashed and that this is just like a flaw. But then there's another coin that shows the same thing on there. So I don't know what this is right here. Part of the technology, I suppose. I also found it very interesting. This right here, this shape, this almost eight, number eight on a pole. So you see that several times on these different coins, which is really interesting. So here's another one of the fascistes. Okay. And then it's got that weird shape in front, like where the axe head goes, but it's just, I don't know what that is. Okay, and then we've got so another one of the coins they were showing, and then these could be fascistes kind of laying sideways up here. I'm not quite sure, but then you've got this kind of interesting shape that I noted that I've kind of seen before as well, but I do think there's something to this. There's more than meets the eye here. I think this could be some sort of technology. Not sure what this is exactly. And then here it is again. So that's why I noted it, because I just thought it was a very odd shape. Doesn't look like table legs to me. Looks like some kind of technology of some sort. And then here's another image with that figure eight. Now they depict it as, I believe, like maybe little mini snake heads, which would make sense because you see that in a lot of other things as well. With the like the eight, but this again shows that shape on a staff. Big clue. And then there's a weird handshake going on here too on this coin. Very interesting, sort of Masonic looking. But yeah, there's that technology again. And this one, it looks like maybe has wings below it too. This is when I was searching Kundalini, this image came up right here as a tattoo artist was going to be putting this on somebody, but this was just showing the snake coiling up the chakras of the Kundalini, I guess, awakening process, and then at the top they've got the wings, um, and so it's just funny how all this stuff kind of ties together. Here is the medical symbol that you've no doubt seen. If you pick up your prescription drug or whatever and you see this on the label, it'll say RX, and this is your RX symbol right here. Exactly matches the, oh shoot, did I close it? Well, exactly matches the one I just showed you of the Kundalini awakening. So very funny that they're the exact same thing, um, that they would be using that symbol. So, like the medical profession is using an Eastern or a Hindu symbol. Hmm. And then the ambulance uses this one, which shows the snake going up the staff. Also Kundalini imagery, if you ask me. And this is, I believe, from Kabbalah. And it's got like Tree of Life imagery, which is also tied into all of this prana kundalini stuff, kind of loosely. I mean, it's the same thing from a different religion, basically, but it's all referring to the same energy. And then, over here you have this imagery, which the funny thing about this imagery over here on the left is it's got this archetypal stuff that I've been seeing whenever I do my dimensional sight. I end up seeing a lot of this kind of stuff, like the crown on the head of the king, and this holding the staff, and the Sphinx, which I repeatedly see. And I'm going to be doing more videos on the Sphinx, guys, in the future, because there is something to that. I've seen some videos from Mud Fossil University with some discoveries of a Sphinx, a small Sphinx in North America that could potentially be a real mud fossil, and it's pretty convincing that it was real. And so and then we've also got the video from Wise Up with showing the Sphinx in Egypt, showing that the skull is in fact very likely a real skull of a real giant of some sort. Which just opens up so many questions, because it has a real sinus cavity that you would never create if you were a sculptor. And it also has an arrow going through the head, like a fatal blow to the head or something with an arrow. So it's just really crazy. I'm going to do a video on all that, because there's just so much there that's very interesting that we need to look at, I think. Big clues. Big clues. This is like some tree of life stuff. This one was showing something like the 7 stages of Kundalini, I believe they were calling this, or they may have been calling this the 7 stages, or the 7 tree of life, stages of the tree of life here. And if you notice here, it's like they think they're becoming God when they go up this. Guys, that's a total lie. So that's why I'm telling you. I mean, even though a lot of this energy technology stuff was like given to us by God, it's a great gift. I'm like you want to have it, but you need to use it for good. It needs to be the Holy Spirit that you're cultivating. You're not going to become God, guys. You're not going to go up the frequency planes into some. I mean, yes, you will, like, in a sense of like your worldview will change, but you're not going to live forever, and you're not going to, I mean, you're going to die just like everyone else, just like all the people that believed in all this trash right here. um, they all got old and died, guys, and they're going to have to stand judgment in front of God too. So, and they're either going to go to heaven or they're not, you know. So just be aware. And like, I mean, these Buddhists, I mean, they're putting up these idols just everywhere. I mean, they're idol worshiping like crazy. But still, I look at the imagery of it so that I can learn things. And what they're showing here is the Buddha with this point on the top of his head. So, this is that energy idea, that chi energy cultivation. Falun Gong, Falun Dafa in China, highly persecuted uh, because because chi energy cultivation is real, guys. So it is real. It works. It makes them super healthy. Basically, if you do it every day, um, and you follow it, your organs are really purified. Like, basically, like, your body's like really, really healthy. And so they know that in China, and so like then the government comes and they kidnap these people, and they actually harvest their organs while they're still even alive and breathing and even conscious and aware of what's going on. And it's really evil. And so yeah, I totally support the movement to stop the organ harvesting. Somebody needs to stop that, because it's just one of the most horrible things you can think of. Um, so that's about it for today's video, guys. I just wanted to talk about my thoughts on the different names of the energy, of the etheric energy that I repeatedly refer to as chi, just because it's easy to say, and it's a term that everybody kind of knows and understands what it is. So thanks for watching. I hope you like this one. Let me know in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe, and then I will see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.